The governors are saying we are not
independent institutions.
Yes. Well, independent in what sense? Independent to be allowed to continue to corrupt?
No, what I'm saying is...
Yeah, I know. I'm not actually saying you're saying anything wrong. I'm just asking myself, the fact that you're being told, this is it's like IFMIS. IFMIS was rejected when it came in, when it was tried. This is also a rejection of a process that will ensure fairness. It will give us some level of transparency. It will stop these governors from giving their girlfriends and their boyfriends contracts as against deserving businesses and Kenyans who actually
will it.
Sorry?
Will it?
I believe so. I have had a conversation with a technical person, actually, when your poster went out yesterday.
The system doesn't flag people as girlfriends and boyfriends, does it?
No, fellow Kenyans, truth of the matter is that we've given this issue of corruption a lot of titles, you know. We've given it a priority, whereby we are the ones that are allowing our leaders to be corrupt. And then we keep on, they keep on telling us that there is nothing you can do. You see, they keep on showing us middle finger by doing things that we thought maybe they could not do, simply because they want to get the money back. Okay, we know very well that we are remaining with very few years, only less than 2 years to the general election. That is 2027, because because we are already in September. So we only have October, November, December. That is 3 months. 3 months to the end of 2025, and then we are in 2026. 2026, that is just, let us just say that is 1 year. And then you go to 2027, that is the general election, the election, which probably supposed to be done in 2026. According to Wakili Willis, I'll talk about that in the next video. And by God's grace, God's willing, I'm really planning something. Probably mid-month or end-month, we might have an interview with him so that he can tell us more about. I've been trying to communicate with him, and he's telling me that he still have a very tight schedule. But I'll find out on when and how we can have this interview. I just want to, nataka ifike pale ambapo now we are doing most of the interviews with these people. Tusikie kutoka kwao. Just working on buying some few things, you know, buying good mics for the outdoors interviews and all that. The camera is not cannot be an issue. I know I can get, and through your support, guys, when the right time comes, not now, when the right time comes, I will announce to you my plan and see what we can do about this. But then I want us to listen to the Daybreak interview between Sam Gituku together with Senator Hilary Sigei, Geoffrey Wandeto, that is the MP of Tatu City, and Ken Gikingo, that is the Chief Economic Advisor. The way they were speaking, you know, Sigei is this issue of that's why I've started by saying that this issue of corruption tunaijaribu kuipaka rangi. You see, tunaipaka rangi, inafika pale ambapo inaonekana nikana kwamba it's nothing, yet people are suffering. Sisi wananchi ndio tunaumia, but they don't care. They keep on defending themselves every now and then without asking themselves that while we are defending ourselves as leaders, as politicians, or as legislators, as executive, what about those people that you're supposed to legislate? What about those people that you're supposed to lead? What about those people who gave us this opportunity to serve them? How are they faring? How are they doing? So I want us to listen to these conversations from the beginning up to the end. And then at the end of the video, please don't forget to click the subscribe button. You can as well like, you can share, drop me the flag, and tell me where you're watching this video from. Until we meet again, I've been your host, Boniface. You know, watch this.
Sam, we are transitioning from discussing corruption and into now the e-procurement aspect. Part of what I would really love us to have a conversation candidly as Kenyans is the idea behind this e-procurement process. Wandeto, my colleague here, said we successfully devolved corruption, and all of us on this table do agree that one of our biggest challenges to development, growth, and service delivery to the public is corruption. It's not only limited to the national government, it is rampant in the counties. I was just running through my mind on the number of governors who are currently being processed. I've got the governor for Trans Nzoia, He took plea. He managed to get an injunction in court. The other day, EACC DPP sent back the file of Kiambu Governor, Marsabit Governor, and Governor Barchoki is taking plea today in court at 9 o'clock, as well as former Governor Bungoma Wakamati taking plea. That tells you there is a problem, because it can't be that EACC, DPP, and other investigative agencies are fighting something that doesn't exist. And one of the reasons why some of these governors are actually being investigated and charged is procurement processes.
Yeah.
When you are charged of conflict of interest, it means that conflict of interest developed out of a transaction that happened in the course of procurement. Abuse of office, acquisition of public resources through wrong processes or means. It boils down to the procurement process, which CS Mbadi and Treasury are trying to cure by introducing this bit. We haven't applied our minds in the Senate to this circular, but I have had conversations with the technical persons involved in this process. And one of the things that I know is that this was something that was conceived in the previous government. Actually, during Uhuru Kenyatta's regime, this e-procurement process was conceived. Unfortunately, it was never implemented. Just same case as the affordable housing program. That was there. Unfortunately, it was never implemented. In this case, this government has just decided to make the very unpopular decision, the bold decision to say, for us to fight this menace, which is procurement, in all our government institutions, this circular was sent out. And what Mbadi said, I listened to the interview that you had with Mbadi and also his presentation before a different forum, saying that I did not send this circular to the National Assembly for purposes of any processing by the National Assembly. It was being sent since National Assembly, just like any other government institution, is a procuring entity. It procures its services. So it was sent out to all government institutions and agencies for purposes of them to apply. And it came in, because I went back to the Hansard actually, and I think it was a point of order was raised on the 14th of August in the floor of the House as to the legality of that circular. And that is when it was picked by the committee headed by Chepkonga as to the legality of the circular that had not been sent into the National Assembly for purposes of it to debate, but for it to consider applying it in its procurement processes. And that is why now the 19th of August, it got into the order paper for purposes of discussion by the Assembly, leading to the ultimate decision to nullify it. And so
is that decision binding on anyone?
Now, this is what Mbadi said, and I'm very sure my colleague here, Wandeto, will probably say something about it. Mbadi says, I did not send it to you to process it, whether to legalize it or legitimize it in any way. It didn't require any parliamentary process, according to him. He sent it out as one of the institutions that procure services, directing it to apply. Then Parliament picked up and said, look, you are overstepping your mandate. You ought to have subjected it to a legislative process, because it's a policy that when you look at, of course, the provisions of the Statutory Instruments Act, it is one of those things that would actually lead to policy change. And that is why Parliament said, as a consequence of its effect, then it ought to have been subjected to us for purposes of delegated legislation, running it through the process required. And if it then require amendment to the law, then it didn't meet the threshold as required. They even quoted the provisions of the Constitution, Article 2, Article 10, Article 27, on participation and subjecting it to the processes that requires it to ultimately got an approval. But Mbadi argues and says, look, I didn't send it to you to process. I was just notifying you that we want to do this. And when you look at now the objective of this particular circular, it will serve to cure this cancer of corruption. The governors are saying we are not
independent institutions.
Yes. Well, independent in what sense? Independent to be allowed to continue to corrupt?
No, what I'm saying
resources?
is...
Yeah, I know. I'm not actually saying you're saying anything wrong. I'm just asking myself, the fact that you're being told, this is, it's like IFMIS. IFMIS was rejected when it came in, when it was tried. This is also a rejection of a process that will ensure fairness. It will give us some level of transparency. It will stop these governors from giving their girlfriends and their boyfriends contracts as against deserving businesses and Kenyans who actually
Will it?
Sorry?
Will it?
I believe so. I have had a conversation with a technical person, actually, when your poster went out yesterday.
The system doesn't flag people as girlfriends and boyfriends, does it?
It does not.
Yeah.
But what it does is, all procurement service, actually your procurement plan as an authorized person in the institution will be uploaded in the portal.
Yeah.
All directorates will have to upload in the portal. And every service provider, for instance, if you are a contractor in a certain sector, you also have got to register in the e-procurement. So whenever there is a service or there is a contract that needs to be given out, then all of us are alerted that this thing is there.
Okay.
Evaluation is online. I know it has got its challenges, but I would tell you from where I sit, I would rather have it so that the rest of us can get an opportunity to try and get that service rather than
that's fine,
fail to get because you don't know the governor or you don't know the procurement person or you don't know the CEO.
I think the drafters of the Constitution, it's nice that they put these provisions because we came from a system where power was unchecked and it was very, very difficult to basically remove those in power through any form of legal or constitutional means. However, I think what we have learned from the various cases of impeachment that we have seen, those that have either been successful or unsuccessful, is the level, is the use of impeachment, one, as a political tool, either to play our politics, remove who is not wanted, or save who is wanted. The other one is that it has also become an instrument of blackmail. A lot of governors will tell you that they have to do certain things to MCAs. We hear even some places where MCAs have to collect a certain amount of money every end month or every Friday just for the governor to buy peace. And in fact, this one was amplified in the last devolution conference. I remember the chair of the Council of Governors saying being a governor is like walking a landmine. On this one side, you have MCAs who every day are threatening to impeach you. Then, of course, you have the legal system where all manner of things are being brought against you. So I think to some extent, the impeachment process has been used to settle political scores as opposed to being an instrument of accountability. But however, I like where certain MCAs have come forward to call out or to use this process to call out certain governors. If I use the example of Nairobi, I don't think you don't need any genius to understand that Nairobi currently is in a total mess. I mean, we voted with a lot of hope, but if you look at what the city has become, really, it is not difficult to see that actually, the governor of Nairobi is actually performing, below par. We still have issues, the unresolved issues of garbage. We still have the unresolved issues of water. We still have potholed roads in this country, despite the county being one of the biggest revenue earners and also receiving the biggest share of national government funds. I have said it in this forum, Sam, that...
Sorry, it's not share of national government. National revenue. National
revenue. So I've said it in this forum, Sam, many times, that I am a very big supporter of devolution. This was like a masterstroke, the people who drafted the Constitution. But unfortunately, the only thing we seem to have successfully devolved has been corruption. That one we were successful. If we were to give ourselves a scorecard of whether we devolved health properly, whether we devolved water services properly or whatever, the only thing that was devolved successfully is actually corruption. And if we are then to look at corruption as then the trigger for impeachment, some of the people who are already in EACC radar and whatever, some of them are sitting pretty in their offices. Then you see a few governors that that are now being taken around by their MCs, maybe as a result of blackmail. But my other question is, right now there's a huge clamor led by Raila Odinga to give counties more funds.
Yeah.
CDF, Kera funds, and if you look at this environment, I don't know whether we can be able to trust our governors with any other additional funds. So Raila Odinga, again, jumping into the Sakaja debacle, I think is one more mistake. He seems to be making a lot of missteps in the recent past. The first one being a CDF, the second one, refusing Senate to hold governors accountable. Now he's jumping into the Nairobi county fray. I think, again, we see him and writing either such a word, his very many years of, legacy for good governance. All procuring entities, should be consulted. I think the major criticism about the rollout of EGPS has been the following. One, very low stakeholder engagement. I think that everybody has come to say, you know what, we were not consulted, we were not aware. And the other thing is what we are seeing as a rushed rollout, like putting it, to use one of the governor's words, hatutasingiziwa, it cannot be pushed down our throats. And the third one is, of course, what is seen as legal overreach. And this is, I think, where Parliament really took issue with the circular, questioning whether the Cabinet Secretary for Treasury on his own can be able to basically issue new laws relating to procurement. Some, in this country, procurement is governed by through Article 227 of the Constitution, and that article by there has two very, very interesting things that maybe Buddy should look at. The first thing, it says that procurement has to be done in a manner that is fair.
Yep.
If you just use the word, pick the word fair, I know there are several other words used there, transparent, yep, whatever, but it has to be fair. The other one is that if you look at the same Article 227, you go to Section 2B, it also talks about that procurement cannot be discriminatory. It cannot, have unfair competition or discriminatory. Now, if you look at this EGPS, there are two potential things that are coming out that we need to really be careful about. Now, in this country, we have areas without even internet. We have also people who deserve access to procurement opportunities, government procurement opportunities, who may be suffer certain disadvantage. There could be persons living with disability. It could be as a result of resource levels. And this is all the things that, someone will just need to go to court and say, you know what, this whole thing is, is unconstitutional, is already, the contravening Article 227. So, other than just Article 227, then of course you have the Public Finance Management Act and the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act. So these were the laws that govern procurement. So for the Cabinet Secretary for Treasury to come up and issue a circular that significantly alters how procurement is done in this country, without even a fallback position, because that has been the other criticism. What is a fallback position? We have lessons to learn from IFMIS, which I think is now in its 20-something year, if I'm not wrong. But IFMIS is still struggling, from system outages to inconsistencies to bypasses. So how do we basically be able to pick up, from these sort of things? And as I finish this, I know we are implementing EGPS, and President said correctly so, to cure, issues like corruption. But I don't think corruption in this country will be cured through system. Actually, my observation is that systems is actually the new frontier for corruption in this country. Look at e-citizen. Look at SHA system. We have a 104 billion system that cannot prevent a 10 billion fraud. What a mismatch. So you spent 104 billion to prevent a 10 billion crime, and the 10 billion crime still happens. You know, we have, again, you look at all these systems, there are two issues coming up. One is ownership and control. SHA, we have now issues of ownership and control. E-citizen, there's a clamor. This e-GPS, we do not know who owns it. You do not know where it is hosted. You know, so I actually think we could be trying to exacerbate corruption in this country by having some secret ways of procuring government entities. So I think e-GPS should not be rushed. Let Badi come out and explain to us what this thing is all about. Let us share the results of the pilot. We were told a pilot, I don't know, was done in 3 counties. Let us hear those governors, what they found out, what worked, what did not work. Imagine some taking e-procurement to your local primary school, because I believe they'll always be subjected to e-GPS. Now, even the head teacher, who has trained him? He has no laptop. How will he, you know, this thing is a mess. So why don't we start it maybe with a bigger organization and give ourselves a 3-year period within which to gradually roll it out, educate Kenyans, you know. But however, I support, I support automation, but it cannot be automation for the sake of it.